in your eyes, is love conditional or unconditional?
Yeah, so I'm going to say for me, I believe that most of the times you cannot have love without conditions. I feel like having love without conditions is kind of setting yourself up for failure a little bit, because it's just like, although you may be able to love somebody unconditionally, it's just like, is that going to be what you're going to receive back from
Right.
that person? So you can't say, I'm going to love you wholeheartedly, I'm going to love you unconditionally, and then expect for that person to be like, okay, yeah, I can do that. I can reciprocate that for you. Like, you
Right.
can't make anyone do that. So when you choose to love this person unconditionally and you don't receive it back, you're going to be disappointed.
Right.
And then you have these expectations that you set for this person because you put them on a pedestal, like, hey, I see you this way and I want you to see me the same.
Yeah.
I just feel like unconditional love is just not realistic. It's not a realistic thing to love someone unconditionally, besides your children and sometimes your parents
Hmm.
and your siblings and things like that. But I just don't see how you could get into a relationship with someone and it be unconditional. Through all of my learning experiences with relationships, it's just like my love is now very conditional. Like, there's some
Hmm.
hard conditions that you have to meet, because it's just like, I'm not going to set myself up to endure certain things
Yeah.
from loving somebody too much. So it's just like, where do you draw the line? It's just like, yes, I love you, but there are some things that I'm expecting for you not to cross the line,
Hmm.
or for you to be understanding. Now, I feel like you can definitely have a love that's unconventional, where you decide the terms of your own love and
Yeah.
what love is for you and your partner and what works best for y'all. But to love unconditionally, I don't think so.
I can understand where you're coming from with that. It's funny that you said how you would love your children or someone like a parent or something unconditionally, but you couldn't your partner. I don't know if you ever saw like Chris Rock. He did a comedy stand up where he said that exact thing. He said only women. He said only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. He said men are only loved under the condition of what they provide. I seen that to be true, especially the older I get, even just within my own family or people I meet or friends. It almost seems like when they meet you, it's almost transactional. Like, okay, what can I get out of our relationship or friendship? How can I benefit from you being in my life? When it comes to children or animals or women, they can just be going through the worst time of their life. They could be down in the dumps, but people will still treat them like they're worth $1 billion and praise them and uplift them. If a man is down on his luck, the world kicks him down like, you broke bum, you need to get it together. He's overlooked by the masses of people.
I definitely think that men love conditionally as well, because if you're a man, you guys first are visual people. So you
Mhm.
have to be attracted to the person that you love. Typically, men have a certain type of woman that they want or they see as their type. I feel like that is a condition. And then when you think about when you get deep into a relationship, men have conditions for what they expect out of a wife.
Right.
Like, I've heard people tell me, like, oh, well, I'm with this person and now they want me to dress a certain way, they want me to talk a certain way, they want me to walk a certain way. Once you get locked down with somebody, there comes a lot of
Mhm.
conditions. Like, people are wanting to change you to make you fit into what's perfect love for them.
Exactly. I'm kind of guilty of that myself, to be honest. Like, I've dealt with women, and initially, yeah, it was physical attraction there, and that's why I was interested from the start. But as time went on throughout the relationship, and they started to, how women can get a little more comfortable once they get settled in a relationship, get more comfortable with you. They'll let their guard down some and not be as on top of their beauty or whatever, just upholding themselves the way they do when you very first meet. I've seen the changes happen over time in a relationship, and it started to cause problems. A lot of it was coming on my end because I just wasn't visually satisfied as I was before. And once the visual appetite goes out the window for men, that's when we start to have eyes for other women. I do agree as far as like conditions with women, especially like physical appearance, just doing feminine, I don't want to say duties, but
Your role.
things that kind of, yeah, like role, like play your role in the household in the sense where, not to say that either person can't cook, clean, and do those traditional things, but if we play our role and we had create that balance in a relationship, I think that leads to a healthy, balanced relationship. I feel like as long as a man's visual appetite is fed in a relationship, for the most part, you should always be good with them. As long as you're not causing any added stress and being argumentative for no reason or being petty, and you communicate like adults and you express whatever may be bothering you, you can communicate about it. I don't see any long-term issues if you're keeping your man visually, appeased. What are the biggest factors leading to modern day relationships failing? What do you feel that is?
I'm going to say um, the internet. Just how easily accessible everything is right now. Like if you're looking for a porn star, it's right there.
Yeah.
Looking to cheat, it's right there.
Yeah.
You looking to step out on your wife, on your baby mama, like it's everything is just in your phone. And it's not just with relationships, it's with everything. How technology is like turning the narrative of things compared to what it used to be like when you had to go out and actually seek those things physically. But now when you have the internet, I feel like it plays a big part in relationships failing because a lot of times you get men and women getting eyes for other people that they're seeing
Mm-hmm.
online. Kind of something similar to what you said about glamorizing things. You see things online, it looks good. You don't
Mm-hmm.
know what's happening behind the scenes, but you're willing to take the risk to
Right.
pursue that,
Right.
even if it's not good or even if it's going to ruin what you have going on. People are
Yeah,
willing to do it.
I agree with the social media part being one of the biggest factors in the relationships failing because people feel like they have unlimited opportunities. So now people are starting to view other people as just disposable. Like if this doesn't work out with me and you, by tomorrow, by later on, I'll have something else lined up. And that's the way people are approaching relationships now. They're seeing people as just like disposable objects instead of like an actual human being who, have emotions invested, maybe planned out some things for your future. They're just seeing people like, hey, it is what it is. I'm not tripping over you. It goes back to my video that I posted yesterday. All of that is a facade. People don't have these unlimited options that they think they have. Majority of the attention that people get on social media is from people with hidden agendas, mainly behind having sex, especially women. 98% of the guys that send a woman's DM, most likely is something sexual related. Even if they're playing a good guy role to start off, they have an agenda. So that brainwashes a lot of women to think, okay, I got all these guys in my DNA that love to wife me up and be in a serious committed relationship with me. But in reality, they're really just there because they're trying to have sex with you. And a lot of women, they can't accept that fact when men try to expose that and tell them that. They almost are delusional about it. But as a man, I can tell you firsthand, that's usually the agenda. It's a false reality of women thinking because of these guys are liking and commenting and stuff and reaching out to them and in their DMs that these are all potential suitors. Majority of these guys are just trying to hit. And that's the reality of it. And the same goes for guys. If you have something to offer financially or materialistically, whatever, if women are reaching out to you, they probably just see you as an opportunity. Like I could gain something from this guy. He may be able to invest in me or help me out with some bills, or he may be able to take me out on a few dates while I'm bored. So men and women are taking these approaches now to dating, and no one's looking at anyone like I want to seriously be with this person long term because at any given moment something better may come up in my DM, and I want to go with that. I don't want to miss out on that opportunity. If you posted something on social media and your partner wasn't comfortable with it or it made them upset, would you delete it? Would you take it down?
So this is tricky because it's two ways that you can look at it. Is your man or your woman coming from a good place, or are they coming from a place of control? Because if I post something online, like this is my personality, you don't like it, it's like, why don't you like me? Because this is just me. I'm posting
Mm,
things that are relative to who I am.
right.
So what's the problem with it now? Because I was doing this before you. That's one side of it. Now, if you're doing things that are seen as disrespectful to your partner and you don't want to acknowledge accountability, like, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't see this as wrong, but this
Yeah.
is affecting the person that I'm with. I want to I want the person that I'm with to trust me. I want them to feel like I'm a safe space for them.
Yeah.
If you do things to constantly disrespect your situation, it's just like, yeah, you should take those things down. Or I think it's reasonable to have a conversation with your partner, depending on where you are in your situation. Hey, what are some no goes for you? Like, what is just something that
Mhm.
you can't do?
Yeah.
Just kind of establishing those boundaries in the
Yeah.
beginning, because once you start crossing those boundaries late into the situation, like it's hard to break that. So
Right.
you have to go to the situation saying, hey, you know what? I had a situation in the past where my man was always on the Instagram baddie pages. I would like for my partner to not do that. Even though people will say, oh, it's just Instagram. It is like you're lusting after other people. You're sexualizing the things that you're seeing. You like it. You enjoy it
Right.
while you're consuming the
You're
content.
basically you're mentally cheating
Uh,
is what I would.
Basically,
You're mentally cheating because if that person was there in a physical form, you probably would go for it. You would shoot your shot. I think a lot of people try to use that shaming manipulation tactic as, oh, you're insecure. Those type of people who go straight to calling someone insecure are usually manipulative. They can't take accountability. Like me personally, if I've been in these situations, so I can speak on it. I've had girlfriends in the past who they said like, "Oh, I noticed you liking all these kind of like you said, like the pages, like the Instagram baddie pages." Like not reaching out to them, but they would be on the explore page of IG, and I would see it just scrolling mindlessly like a lot of people do, and I just like the pictures. I never thought anything of it that deep, but to her, she saw the light. She saw that as like, oh, you're interested in her. You're about to pursue her. And I would just be thinking in my mind, like, I probably will never meet this girl in my life. This girl lives somewhere in Brazil with 5 million followers. What makes you think I would ever really meet this girl, like reality? But in her mind, she saw it was much deeper to her because she saw it as me having eyes for other women instead of her. So that made her kind of insecure. That's where communication becomes important in a relationship because, like you said, if something is bothering either one of you, that's where you sit down like adults and you're able to say, hey, this makes me feel uncomfortable. You doing this. That's where you communicate about it. And then you come to a common ground and understanding. It's not always coming from a place of insecurity as a lot of people try to go to. Again, like for me, that's a manipulation tactic. You try to call me insecure because I don't like the image that you're putting out to the world as you representing me as my lady. That's not insecurity. That's just respect. And I think the base foundation of relationships should be built on respect first. As long as you respect one another, you shouldn't really ever have any issues because if anything comes up, just because you respect one another, you're going to talk about it real quick, not think anything about it. I apologize. I take it down or whatever. You figure it out, you hash it out.
I feel like you should only have to ask somebody that one time.
Mm-hmm.
You should only have to say that one time. What you did made me comfortable. I don't like it. If you have to start asking somebody to stop doing something multiple times, you let that situation be.
Yeah.
They're not going to stop.
Yeah.
Like,
A person will show you who they are the first time. You gotta believe it.
yeah, when you're with someone who it has emotional intelligence and you can say to them, hey, this I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
That's their one time to correct it and not go back there, because they never have to bring it up again, and then nobody has to be uncomfortable with having the conversation about why this person keeps doing the same thing over and over and
Yeah.
over.
I say, like, for me personally, in the past, I was definitely immature with how I communicated in my relationships. And once I start going on like my own personal healing journey, and I started to just take time to myself, not date anyone, not be in a relationship, not really. I wasn't really talking to anyone. I was just taking time to myself for a few months, and I just wanted to heal. I wanted to grow, and I wanted to like learn myself better about why do I react to certain things? Why do I respond to certain things in a certain way? Why do I communicate a certain way? Why do am I like anxious attachment or anxious avoidant, and where did that stem from? Like, what's causing me to be the way I am in relationships, and for my relationships to constantly fail in the long run? I always look back and reflect on that afterwards. Like, I'm pretty sure I've had plenty of opportunities to patch up this relationship or not let it go down as far downhill as it did, but out of my pride and ego and being immature when it came to communication, um, I didn't take those steps. And it wasn't until recently, this past year, I took like a journey, like a healing journey of my own, to look deeper within myself and learn myself. I started to communicate better. I think that plays a big role in your relationship dynamics with people. Learning how to communicate effectively and having emotional intelligence, like you said, that's key.
And I'm personally someone who loves to talk through things, but sometimes the other person may not be that way.
Yeah,
So it's really hard to communicate when you have one person who likes to talk and likes to try to resolve things, and then you have one person who builds up walls, and
exactly.
it's hard. And then the building up the wall usually comes from not wanting to take accountability
Yeah.
for the part that they're playing in affecting the situation.
Some of it is not want to take accountability. Some of it is fear of being vulnerable. And I think the average person has a fear of vulnerability because they see it as weakness, when it's actually the opposite. Being vulnerable takes courage. That's one of the bravest things you can do. It's easy to put the guard up and act tough 24/7, act like you don't care. That's easy. Being vulnerable is tough. That's hard to do. That takes courage. I had to learn that recently, that allowing myself to be more vulnerable and open up, I discovered so much about myself, and I think more people need to take that path and look within and take some time to themselves and heal from their traumas and heal from things that they've built up, so they can have healthy communication, healthier relationships, not just like relationships with a partner, but your family, your children, your friends, and just overall being a healthier, positive person. But that first comes from healing and looking within and taking some time to learn yourself.
Recently, I had to kind of take a look at things that I had experienced in the past, things where I felt like, you know what, this was real messed up for this person to do to me. But then it's just like, oh, okay, now I have self reflection, because it's just like,
Mm.
well, why did you allow this? Where were you at in your journey where you allowed for someone to treat you a certain kind of way? If you allow it, why should they not do it?
Right.
You're free pass to do certain things to you. So it's kind of just recognizing that, like you said, you need to, when you come into these situations, you need to come healed. You need to work on yourself and trying not to bring baggage from your past situations. That trauma that we hold within us is just like, it's so deep. It has a lot of people pulling back to their childhood,
Yeah.
like not realizing like the things that are happening in my relationships are some of the things that maybe I was neglected in my childhood.
Hmm.
You know, some people may not have had good relationships with their moms or with their dads, or they seen certain things.
Yeah.
They're seeing their mom have a lot of men coming in and out of their lives, or their dad has a lot of girlfriends coming in and out of their lives. And when you experience that as a child, like you're soaking all of that stuff in like a
Hmm.
sponge. You get age, end up repeating those things. And
Right.
for me, it's like I know for sure that I have definitely repeated some things that I've seen my own mom do, and I'm just like, why am I doing this? And then I'm like, okay, well, I need to figure some things out. How can I work on this? How can I change this? Because I don't like it, and I want to make sure that I'm the best version of myself, and I want to come fully healed before, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
another situation that may not be good. Don't take care of what you need to take care of.
People jump from relationship to relationship, trying to fill a void.
Yeah.
And until you take time to yourself and just be by yourself for a while and heal and get over those things, those energy blockages in your life, those things that keep causing your relationships to fail, until you get over that and you take time to heal, every relationship you get into, you're going to carry that baggage and trauma over to that relationship, and you're going to eventually sabotage that relationship. And that's going to be a repeated pattern and cycle in your relationships and your dating life.